What are the VAT rules when you have a long stay guest in one of your serviced accommodation units? Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcotts, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Let's sit down and have a chat. As mentioned on the video to do with VAT and serviced accommodation, you'll have noticed that we mentioned something to do with VAT and those guests that stay for longer periods of time. And the key number here is those guests that stop for more than 28 days. So on day 29, they are past the 28 days. And the VAT position changes specifically for those individuals. Now we have to remember here, it's not that they stop for 3 weeks, then go away and then stop for another 3 weeks. So they've now stopped more than the 28 days. No, we are talking about people who maybe stop for say 2 months, and in stopping for 2 months, they may be stopping for 60 days. The first 28 days are the normal VAT rules, and then day 29 to day 60 is slightly different. Now, how it's slightly different is we have a change to the VAT position on that accommodation because it goes from temporary accommodation to more permanent accommodation, which means we can do something different with the VAT element of the accommodation. Now, a key point to mention is the VAT doesn't become exempt. So the reason I make this as a key point is if it's exempt, it normally means you cannot claim the input VAT that you're incurring on delivering your accommodation. However, it doesn't become exempt, it just is a reduced rate of VAT. So you can still claim all your input VAT back, that's not an issue. The basic premise is that it relieves the VAT that would normally be due for the accommodation element. Any additional services that are provided, such as cleaning, laundry, all those sorts of additional services you may be offering, those are still VATable. So if, for example, we had a accommodation where we said we're charging £100 plus VAT to make 120, now we're going, well, actually the 120 needs to change because actually £80 of that is now to do with the accommodation and we don't charge VAT on that. So we've got £80 which is chargeable, £20 which is the accommodation, the extra services that we're providing, the cleaning, the other bit, and that £20 is still VATable. So that would have £24. So now our overall service is going to be £104 rather than 120 because the 80 we're relieving the VAT, the 20 we're still charging VAT. So that means we're getting to 104 rather than 100 plus VAT. Something to note is this is only relevant for individuals. So if it's a company making the booking, then there's no change. You don't have to deal with this 28-day rule. So for example, if you have a company that's block booking things and they block book 6 months, but different people are going to be occupying the property, then you still have to be charging the normal VAT, the normal amount that you would be charging. You can't make any differences. If the individual's actually booked independently for 30, 40 days, then that would be a different case and this 28-day rule would kick in. Now, another thing that we just want to point out is if you do have a long-term resident in one of your holiday serviced accommodation units, then just because they leave for the occasional weekend to, I don't know, go visit some family or friends or such like, or go away for a weekend, but they're there the rest of the time, then that would not discount the fact that they are potentially there for over 28 days. The other element is if they're also paying a retaining fee. So if they do pay a retaining fee, then that would still count towards the 28-day rule and there wouldn't be a break in the accommodation that is being provided. This rule is quite specific. So it does very much mean it's 28 consecutive days. And the 29th day is the one that falls outside of the rules, and you then change the VAT position. So you need to be very careful in managing this side of things, and if you're using channel managers, make sure you're aware of what is going on and who is letting the different units. Hopefully today you've got an understanding of how the rules work for long stay guests in your serviced accommodation units. If you do have any questions, then please do leave a comment. Please like the video and do subscribe to the channel. And let's make tax less taxing.